Okay, let's start with a little bit of spine stretching. So let's say you're sitting somewhat next to your chair. And for starters, let's hold on to the legs in whatever way, and let's just do a little bit of seated cat-cow, getting the breath and the spine moving, shoulder blades moving around on the back. If you'd rather have the legs, forward, you can hold on behind the thighs, whatever works. Good, good. And the next time we're rounded, see if you can feel like you're really kind of hanging back by the hand clasp on the legs, and chin is dropping into the throat. And let's just do some little exhale pulses, and we can watch the navel pulse into the spine. In for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it in tight as we get up nice and tall on the sit bones. Morning, Christabel. We're going to sit next to our chair here, because let's go ahead and have a hand on the chair and see if you can kind of push against the chair without moving it. And instead, we might take a hand on the low ribs over here. Can we push the ribs away from the chair? Relax to neutral stack. And so just into and out of that a few times. How far can we feel like we're sliding the rib cage horizontally, comfortably for all the vertebrae, without it turning into like a side bend tipping thing? Yeah. And then as we do that, let's reach this arm up. And it's like we're trying to reach that way, but we're pushing that way. So there are many things going on at once. Yeah. And then relax to tall neutral. So get the ribs going away, reach up and over. Yeah, so they're really pressing into the rounded part of the curve. Just twice more here. Yeah, one more time. And then while we're here, go ahead and let that chair arm bend and let yourself just have a nice, easy side bend toward it. And then come up tall. Let's do that one a few more times. Exhale, easy curve over. Of course, core is still really active, so feel all this kind of lifting up, supporting from underneath as we go that way. Yeah, good. One more time, really deep breath in, and beautiful. And then let's open that arm all the way up to a T. And then let's have this hand on the back corner of the chair, and we'll kind of press against that to come around and tap the front corner of the chair. Inhale, open. Exhale, tall spiral. Can we feel the crown actually lift as we're turning? Yeah, just a couple more times here. Again, feel those abdominals really wrap in and cinch and wring it out. Now let's stay in the spiral. Next exhale, curving in the spiral like you want to tap your head to the chair. Inhale up tall, maybe even a little lift of the sternum. And a couple more times there into the curve, up tall, or even a little tiny high arch. And then to the curve, and let's stay. And while we're in the curve, we might actually start to push a little bit with both arms. So again, it's like we're pressing backward into that curve. And wherever you are, be sure it's a comfortable stretch. Neck is easy. Let's pulse the belly, navel to spine. In. Little exhales. 4, 3, 2. Hold it in tight. Come up tall. Unwind. Easy counter stretch here. Yeah, great. All right, morning, Karen. And we're getting to the second side. You can just turn around. I'll talk you through it if you don't want to lug your chair over. And yeah. Okay, let's start with, again, kind of cat-cow down the middle. Maybe a little arch through with the sternum. Yeah, feel the sternum collapse back in. And then feel it really rise up toward the ceiling. Good. And then let's stay in that curve. Again, chin is dropping into the throat. Let's hollow and really carve the belly and pulse it in. 8, 7, little exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, keep it tight, come on up, tall, neutral, staying connected. We got our hand on the chair, maybe the other hand is on the low rib so we can really feel that we're pressing it away and finding center. And we will all have an easier side for each of these movements, so just noticing what we've got. Yeah, and this can be as subtle as it needs to be to feel both comfortable and to feel like you're being very specific. We really are pushing and sliding that rib. Yeah, good. Okay, and then as we push, we'll take our reach over. Neutral. Good. Push into that curve. Yeah, nice. Really sliding into it. And see if you can feel like the head and the neck are just along for the ride. It might feel good to rotate a little bit. But yeah, you don't want to feel like we're generating too much tension between that shoulder and the neck. Yeah. Okay, we'll do this one more time. And now we can just go with it into the chair. Let's inhale all the way up and tall. So now, even though we are going toward the chair, can we still feel a little bit of sending that rib up and out the other way? Beautiful, yeah. Perfect, one more there. And then we open, chair hand moves to the back corner of it so we can spin and try to tap the front corner. Inhale, open. Great. And we feel everything above the sit bones participating in this spiral. All the lumbars, all the ribs, gently through the neck. Let's stay. And exhale, deep curl. Inhale, tall, maybe trying for a little bit of chest lift. Yeah. And the abs are so strong here. Okay, and then let's stay in that curve and see if you can kind of push back into the curve a little bit. And let's pulse the belly one more time. In, 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 in. 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep it tight, roll up tall, unwind, gentle counter stretch there. Amazing. Okay, let's lie on our backs with our feet up on the chair. And remember, in terms of the depth of the chair, we want to feel like our heels are pretty much in the center between the front and back edges. And once you have that, then look for your thigh bones to be pretty vertical. And we'll do a couple more stretches before we get into work. Let's start by pressing one heel gently up to the ceiling. And let's try to roll through the foot to point the toe, roll through the foot to flex. Yeah, and we don't want the hip flexors to have to work super hard, so totally fine to have a little bit of bend in the knee. And now let's do a really slow circle to get back to our flex. And then one really slow circle the other direction to get back to our flex. Good, and let's keep that flex and see about crossing the ankle in front of the other knee. You could always slide that leg forward for this if you feel a little crowded. And then let's give this knee a push and release. Do that a few times. And I've got my other hand on my pelvis just to be sure pelvis is staying stable, just the leg is moving. Yeah. And one more time. And this time when we push open, let's stay, get a couple of full breaths. We feel expansion in all the directions with the breath. And then let's release that press. Let's take one more big heel push to the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach from the sit bone. And then rest that leg down onto the chair. Great. Okay, other leg comes up. Start pretty gently. We're flexing. We're just easing into this hamstring stretch. Let's roll through the foot to point. Roll through the foot to flex. And again, really a wave traveling through all those tiny bones one by one. One more time, pointing, flexing. How articulate can we be? And the next time we're flexed, let's do a super slow circle to come back around to the flex and press. And one the other direction. Good. And once we're flexed, let's really push through that heel for a moment. And then go ahead and cross that over the other knee. And we'll give it a press open. Maybe inhale as we relax out of there. Easy exhale as we press it open. And pelvis is super quiet. Feel that thigh bone rotating at the hip. Good. One more time. Let's press open and stay for a couple of breaths. And then as we relax out of there, let's give one more strong heel push. Can you mentally connect that heel to the sit bone and reach from there upward? And relax that down. Okay, now be sure we're back to having the heels centered on the depth of the chair, front to back. We're hip width apart. We have our verticalish thigh bones. Now, usually we do this as a very hamstring focused bridge, and we will get to that. But first, let's go robot arms with a little bit of space away from your side so you feel really connected through the whole upper arm bone for support. And now let's do a few pelvic tilts where we're keeping our feet feeling really light on the chair. And we're seeing if we super activate through the pelvic floor and we really zip up strongly, how much can we curl the tailbone out of the ground without pressing into the chair yet? Yeah, so it's really coming from the core, just moving the spine directly. And so now do your best to stay very core focused as we roll through the spine. Maybe we come all the way up to the shoulder blades, maybe not quite. Because again, the articulation is the important part. So if you feel like at a certain point it gets hard to articulate and we're just gonna thrust upward, just pause there and roll right back down. Yeah, and you'll notice the hamstrings are working even though we're not super focused on that. But just keep trying to bring more and more of it into those really deep core muscles. Let each vertebra really support the weight as we roll through. Good. Couple more times. Curling, curling, curling. Yes, one more time. Nice. Okay. And then when we roll down from there, let your feet slide forward so you feel like you're just in a little more of a legs are flopped on the chair position. Maybe let the knees rotate out a little bit. So yeah, we're just kind of hanging out here now. Same idea, can we leave the legs in this fully relaxed position? And let's just do the first part of a pelvic tilt where we're anchoring the lumbar flat to the mat. We're not necessarily trying to curl the tailbone out of the ground in the same way as before. Just anchor through those lumbar and then inhale to neutral. And again, can we feel the legs staying super relaxed? We're not pressing into the chair any extra. Feel the pelvic floor, feel those lower abdominals, so drawing that pubic bone up. Perfect, let's keep doing that. Let's add the upper half. So hands to the head in whatever way you like and do that zip up tilt. And the curl goes with it. Everything lengthens back down to neutral. Yeah, can we feel like we're just getting our shoulder blades off the floor so that we can press those lumbar vertebrae even deeper into the mat? Yeah, 5 little pressure points driving back into your mat. Good. Can the head be just a little heavier in your hands? So the chin is just kind of collapsed into the throat. Throat is really soft. Back of the neck is open. But the full weight of the head is just supported by the arms. All the movements through the spine. 2 more times. These look great. Yes, we're just last one. Let's come up and let's just get an extra moment of pushing through the lumbar. Release your head into your hands. Push through the lumbar. Head is heavy in the hands. Push through the lumbar one more time. And relax all the way back. Amazing. Okay, release your head. Give your head and neck a little rotation, side to side. And then one more thing while we're here at the chair. Let's again get the heels centered front to back, vertical thigh bones. Now, a couple of full breaths to feel expanding rib cage on the inhale, corset wrapping around our neutral spine on the exhale. So really feel everything firm up to support this perfect neutral that we've got. You could do robot arms or just straight arms along your sides. Now we want to hold that spinal alignment as we press through the heels to float up into our neutral bridge. Slowly lower down. We should land right on that neutral point of the sacrum instead of rolling through. So it's just a different type of challenge. Slowly pressing up, maybe about 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down, tapping the sacrum right back up without letting any weight really settle. Good. Yeah, and remember, there might be a tendency for the heels to push down and a little bit forward. Can we make the heels press exactly vertically downward into the seat of the chair? That will really drive all the effort into our hammies. Yeah, flexing the ankles is probably helpful. Let's get 2 more. Amazing. Okay, one more time. Doesn't matter at all how high you go. As soon as we lift, hammies are working. Let's stay there. And we don't have to lift any higher, but really press with the heels as if you could smash the seat of the chair all the way down to the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest down from there. Yes, let's catch behind the thighs. Gently reach those legs up. Keep a decent amount of bend in the knees because they were just working so hard, but let's do that. Roll through the foot to flex, roll through the foot to point. Flex, yeah. Point, good. Flex. And now keep your flex, and maybe one heel tries to press a little higher up, and then the other. So it's like we're going for a little walk on the ceiling. And it's okay if the knee doesn't straighten all the way, but just let whatever amount of press be pretty vertically upward. So again, if we start to press forward, it will get kind of hip flexory. Yeah, 3, 2, 1, good. And then shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Let's hug the knees nice and wide. And then get a little side to side rock. Fantastic. Let's tip all the way over.